Now, you might know already that Joshua Buatsi was previously ordered to face Callum Johnson for that belt, but it appears that Callum Johnson has now vacated that belt. Let me read some of the bits from this article, just to give you the full details. Joshua Buatsi has been ordered to battle Liam Conroy for the British light heavyweight belt after Callum Johnson vacated the title. The British Board of Control originally named Buatsi as the next challenger for Johnson in November, but the champion has relinquished the belt, with talks ongoing for a fight against Sean Monahan in America. Buatsi holds Reynold Quinlan in inside 2 minutes at the O2 last month, bringing up his third successive stoppage victory in the opening round. And then this article goes on to talk about saying the Olympic bronze medalist holds a 9-fight unbeaten record ahead of a potential clash with Conroy, who stopped Miles Shinkwin to defend his English belt in his last bout in March. Discussing Johnson's next fight, trainer Joe Gallagher told Sky Sports earlier this month, "If there's a meaningful fight over there for Callum Johnson to get a ranking or final eliminator for a world title shot, of course we'll handle that and we'll give up the British title. But if there's nothing else on the horizon, then we're not going to be giving up the British title. We'll fight Joshua Buatsi instead." And to be honest, I think the fight, if Buatsi were to take on Callum Johnson, that would have been a really, really excellent fight for Joshua Buatsi. Of course, it will be a risk for Joshua Buatsi to take on someone who is that skilled, that much more experienced, and of course that much more dangerous. And yes, Joshua Buatsi is only 9 fights in, and taking someone of that caliber, because you have to accept that Callum Johnson at the very least is European level, if not world level. Well, it may be a bit much to say that he's world level, but he certainly is well above European level. And for me, that would have been a real good test for Joshua Buatsi. If any of you have seen my earlier videos on how to create a superstar, then for me this is one of those stages where a fighter needs to step up and take on challenges which no one really expects them to take on. And this, for me, a fight against Callum Johnson is exactly that sort of fight. It's a risk, but imagine if he were to pull through from that fight with a victory against Callum Johnson. Imagine what that would do for his star power. Imagine what that would do for his reputation in the light heavyweight division, a division which is full of killers. I mean, this is really not a division where you need to be mollycoddling a fighter on. It's a division which is full of killers, and at one point or another he's going to have to step up, and what better way to do that than to take on someone like Callum Johnson. So in my view, I'm really disappointed if the fight doesn't go ahead with Callum Johnson. I know, as it says here, that he's looking for a fight against Sean Monahan in the States, and that he may well be dropping his belt. So it does look as if that he hasn't actually dropped his belt, because what they go on to say, what Joe Gallagher goes on to say is that, but if there's nothing else on the horizon, then we're not going to be giving up the British title, and rightly so. I don't see why Callum Johnson should be stepping aside just for Joshua Buatsi to be handed the belt over against someone who we've never heard. I mean, no disrespect to his next opponent, who's now being Liam Conroy, because let's face it, looking at his record, he's 16-3-1. He's got 3 losses on his record. His losses come to a guy called Cello Renda, who is got a record of 25-10-2. That's not good. Then he has another loss on his record to a Max Maxwell, who has a record of 17 wins, 47 losses and 3. Quite frankly, in my view, this guy is not even British level, in my opinion. I mean, then he's faced a number of other fighters who are much of a muchness. His last win was against Miles Shinkwin. And again, this guy is not going to pose any threat to Joshua Buatsi whatsoever, in my opinion. Joshua Buatsi is levels above. He's above British level, in my opinion. Just look at what he did to Renaud Quinlan in the last fight, and I just feel that this is a missed opportunity if they don't, if they were to pass over the Callum Johnson fight, and I think that really, I'm really quite disappointed if they do pass over that fight, because this really would be a missed opportunity for Joshua Buatsi to literally take a giant step on the ladder in his career and catapult himself into the conversation amongst the killers in the light heavyweight division, and also stake his claim to being a superstar. This, in my view, could be a really missed opportunity. Now, what can we really expect from this fight with Liam Conroy? And if he ices Liam Conroy in the first round, what exactly does that tell us about Joshua Buatsi that we don't already know from his last fight against Renaud Quinlan? This fight tells us nothing more. This guy is British level at best. He's not even British level, in my opinion. And he's got a KO percentage of 40% KO percentage. This guy is not a killer. Is not going to pose any threat whatsoever to Joshua Buatsi. And quite frankly, this fight is not going to tell us anything that we don't already know about Joshua Buatsi. And I really would wish that Eddie N does not push Joshua Buatsi down the same route that we know that what's his name has been pushed down by Frank Warren has been pushing his light heavyweight down the route of, and we really need to try and avoid that. That's my view. Let me know what you think. Do you think that this is a missed opportunity if Joshua Buatsi doesn't fight Callum Johnson next, or do you think that this is just, or do you think that would have been a risk too far for Joshua Buatsi to fight Callum Johnson at this stage in his career? What do you think about Callum Johnson having to step aside effectively by dropping the British, or appears to be seemingly being asked to drop the British title so that Joshua Buatsi can have an easy pass to that title? What do you make of that? Please drop your comment. Thank you. Peace.